Mr. Truck here with another review. This week, our truck review is a 2017 Ford F350. Yep, the big one. It's the dually. 410 rear end. This has the 6.7 power stroke, and right now it's cranked all the way up to 440 horsepower and 925 pound-feet of torque. So it's leading the torque race amongst the heavy duties. And this particular truck is actually rated to tow 31,800. You can equip these right to get them at 32,000. Which is a lot. You know, it's got the brakes to do it. It's got the integrated brake controller. It actually is in a good place to reach on this one. Your buttons are laid out pretty well. This has the big buttons, and I'm a big fan of the big buttons that you can use with gloves. That always seems to make me happy. But anyway, there's the brake controller switch. All the nice big knobs. I do like that. And this cool console with a 2-way or 4 coupler. But nice cab. I really like this. I like that, you know, this is the super cab, the crew cab from the 150, so you get the big floor, flat floor back there, so you can put a lot of stuff in there. My camera bag will lay down there flat. It's got the best trailer emitters in the business, the only ones with power extension on them. But it's the real deal. Now this, the only thing I haven't done is put a picture of the actual engine. But we're only towing. Today we're up at Estes Park. Kelsey couldn't make it, so it's just me up here in the hills. And of course we got wind. That's why we're doing this inside the cab. The wind will not leave us alone for the last 2 weeks. So we're going to be going up and down the mountain, seeing how this does. I've actually taken this with TFL truck, and we pulled big trailers. You know, we did at the launch of this, we pulled 30,000 pounds with a 450. And now this one's just rated just a little less than that as far as towing capacity. But, you know, this one is at 31,800. But this, I think, is the King Ranch. No, it's not King Ranch. This is the Lariat. Exterior's a white gold. Looks like a beige to me. Black leather on the interior. And this one, MSRP, is $74,525. I've been all over with this truck. I helped TFL truck do the right gauntlet. And we've done MPG loops and all that. You can see on the TFL channel. But this, even though it has 925 foot-pounds of torque, it seems to be mixed on how well it tows. Some days good, some days bad. So I don't know if it's this particular truck. I hear whistling in the engine, so I don't know. It's possible that a clamp is somewhat loose on the turbo or something, because it's not performing exactly the way the numbers show on it that it should do. Because this, you know, when you're rated up there almost 32,000 pounds, this should just walk away from any load. And what I helped TFL truck do, we were at right under 23,000 pounds. Big cab, and I always liked the windows on this. They were the first ones to cut down low for the mirror. So that's a real cut. I know on some trucks like the F150, when they first did that to that, they didn't cut it. It looked like that, but they actually just raised the back up. And this is the real deal. You got more visibility out of this kind of window. That's why the semis do it. The Kenworths, the Peterbilts, the Freightliners. So you want that dip in there. But Mr. Truck here with another great trailer accessory review. This product is Jacky Up. This will save you heartache, time, effort. This actually twists into your jack coupler with the base, the receiver, the star you attach to your jack, and then this is an optional station to store the jack in. What this does, gets the jack out of the way. So you're not going to hit it with your tailgate, you're not going to hit it with the hatchback on your SUV. Then you can actually step on your trailer for a step to your camper or whatever you have in your truck. It's a great device. It's quick and easy to make, made in America, powder coated steel, should last forever. But that's what it does. It gets the jack out of the way. And you know how it is if you have an accident with your trailer where the coupler comes off, whether it's a small ball or the coupler breaks, and it drops into your cradled chains. You know all about cradling your chains. And then all that happens, and if your jack's not all the way up, it'll land on the jack, break the jack, bend the jack, then you can't reattach your trailer when you finally get pulled over to safely figure out what was wrong. But I've done that. I've actually dropped onto the jack before. And if you jack it all the way up, it takes a long time to get these jacks cranked all the way up. And this system will work with the triangle-based jacks, the round-based jacks, and the electric jacks. So it's a great device made in the USA, powder-coated steel, should last forever, but eliminates all the problems of the tailgate, the hatchback, the jack in the way. You can take the jack off, it just twists off, you put it in the back of your truck, put it in your trailer, get rid of it. Or you can put it in the station. This is so slick though, all you do is unpin your jack from the jack base, or if it's in the trailer or if it's in the truck, you just go get it, stick that right in there, and you twist it, and now you're ready to crank it up. I'm actually going to put this wheel back on it. Normally I would just use a 2x6 and forget about all this, but I'm going to put the wheel on it. It's so easy to do. You stick the jack back in the hole, twist it a turn, and then you start cranking. And then that's all you do. And you crank a whole lot less. I mean, it looks like I'm cranking quite a bit here, but I'm really not compared to if I had to run this jack all the way up. And now we're up. And this is insecure. It can't come out of there. It's not going to fall down on you. And then, to hook it back up, just crank that puppy down. You just twist it up and out from the star. The star fits into the same 3 slots over there. And you can stick it right in there, stick it in your tailgate, stick it in your trailer, and you can pin this there so it doesn't go anywhere. This one is a Lariat. Let's see what else it has on it. This is, of course, the 6-speed automatic. And I said the 410 rear end. A lot of chrome on this. This has got the sprayed-in bed liner. It's got the super big moonroof. And it's actually powered. Even you got to power the, well, that's the window. It's got a power window back there. And up here, if I ever find all of these buttons, it'd be amazing. There you go. That is the giant moonroof. It's 2 glasses. And it will go back further too if I can figure out enough buttons. Nope, I'm never going to figure out all of these buttons. Go, 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 go. Nah, anyway. It will go all the way to the back because I've taken it back there. But, and these two, this has that giant hitch on the back, the 3-inch hitch with a 2.5-inch reducer with a 2-inch reducer. So you got 2 reducers in there. But this one actually will tow 21,000 pounds without weight distributing. Now we're pulling a toy hauler today. This is our work and play from Forest River. It's only 5,500 pounds. It's not much, but it is a big box trailer, so we get a lot of wind resistance. And you can feel it moving around a little bit. Even though I wouldn't need weight distributing on here, you can tell that the trailer is trying to move the truck a bit. So this trailer's not, putting a load on this truck by any means. But we're up here trying it out. This has also that power, the power dropping tailgate, which I really like. I think that's so awesome. You back up to your gooseneck, push the button, drop the tailgate, and keep on backing up. And you got some of the best cameras in the business are on this truck. This is, you can get up to 7 cameras on this truck. You can get to all that stuff, the bliss and all that for your trailer, and the cameras for your trailer, and the air tire pressure monitor for your trailer on these trucks. But their camera, what's different about them is in the middle they have a black line. Everybody's got the outside lines, but the black line in the middle lines up your ball on your truck with your coupler on your trailer. You can just follow that line, so it's really accurate. Instead of trying to go between a square that's 4 inches apart, you just follow the black line, which is the way they all should be. This has got power tilt and telescoping wheel on it, but the diesel option on this is $8,595. Of course, they don't charge you for the transmission, but it's the only one you can get at. 410 rear end, and there's 17-inch wheels. It does have a chrome package on here. That's $1,125. GVR package on this, you're up to 14,000 gross vehicle weight rating. Of course, engine block heater. It's got a prep package. I know it's got the gooseneck into it. You can also add a fifth wheel to that. The upfitter switches are 165. That's a good deal because those are fused. You can do so much with those switches. Adaptive steering. It says all the new toys. That's the part that actually makes it easier to steer. You steer less with it, and you only notice that if you have a camera on it because it's unnoticeable, and it does help you back up. This also has adaptive cruise control. One of my favorite options. It locks on the guy in front of you or whoever you're close enough to, and you can set the distance with the radar and the laser and all that. And then you go around him, it goes up to the speed you had set. And nice about this adaptive cruise control that nobody else has is it controls your trailer. So, we can go up and down these big mountains out here, lock that on, never touch anything, and it will slow you down, shift you down, grade shift, use the exhaust brake, and it will actually brake the trailers, which is really unique to see the trailers brake and to watch the trailer lights, brake lights come on. But that's just total control of the vehicle. A great system they have on here. Lariat Ultimate Package costs $4,280. 10-way power seats, intercooled and heated front seats. But yeah, MSRP $74,525. Now, of course, with this, there is no EPA rating. We're going to go down the mountain, and you'll see that when we're driving, how well the grade shift works on this. This is the F-150 cab. It came out in 2015. The aluminum body. So the layout's the same, except up here you have these toggle switches, which were on the dash in the old one. And this one, nice and handy, kind of like a cockpit. You sit there and you hook up your fog lights or any of those other things, or your spotlights, or your snow plow. And you got switches. It's a fuse switch. Now, one thing, it's got a big, deep console. Goes way down there. Now, the console's a little wider than it was, so it actually makes your seats a little bit narrower. And then look at this cup holder. This just cracks me up. So you got 4 cup holder, or you slide it over, you got 2 cup holders and a storage area. That's just so awesome. I love it when they get their imagination rolling. And turn on the switch and show you how cool the radio is, but go out here and you've got a power telescoping mirror. Isn't that so cool? You go through a drive-through window, you pull them in, you're trying to see behind the trailer, you pull them out, then there's a fold button here somewhere. There we go. You fold them puppies in. Gotta love them. But yeah, and you see these controls here. This is your cruise control, and these arrows here, this is adaptive cruise control. So when you have this on, this here is what determines how far you are from the vehicle in front of you. It goes by laser, radar, or whatever it is, but that's how you lock on the guy in front of you. Pretty cool. But nice big cab, a lot bigger cab than the old one. That's mostly on the back seat, on the floor, got extra space. But they're the 150 cab. Now we're up here right outside of Estes at the Colorado Cherry Company's place. Love to stop here and get some cider. And they have a wonderful chicken pot pie. It's push button start. It won't let you go anywhere until it's cycled through the glow plug. I think it has a glow plug and a heating grid in the intake. For start, fast starts. I love push button start. I love heated and cooled seats. Adaptive cruise control is my favorite. And we'll be using this. And what they've done, I noticed that Chevy's done the same similar thing. They just use cruise control. And this has got the adaptive cruise control for the brakes and the trailer and all that. But both of them, for some reason, I don't know if they've increased their boost on their turbos or what's happened that would give you more back pressure for an exhaust brake. But you hit the brakes with a big load coming down the hill, and they will flat out slow you down. And usually they would just slow you down and you speed back up. These will slow you down to where you have to speed up yourself, where you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. But they could have done it with boost for the exhaust brake, and they could have done it with line pressure on the transmission. And so I don't really know what they did, but it's very interesting how much more braking you have, which is a grade shift. When you tap on the brake, and you're going downhill, it's trying to downshift and give you that engine braking, and through the transmission called grade braking, to slow you down without using your brakes. So you don't wear your brakes out, you don't get all scared and nervous. And this is really great for people who are just buying an RV or a big horse trailer coming down these mountains. It can get kind of scary with a trailer. So that's what that's all about. So I love the adaptive cruise control. I love what Ford and GM have done. Whatever they've changed is your grade shift works dramatically better. So all that is helping manage these big weights these trucks are capable of. Like I say, this one here, you could go all the way up to 32,000 pounds of a trailer. And this one here is rated at 31,800. But great trailering mirrors, great visibility. You gotta love that giant moonroof. And this is that new aluminum body. That's why it's the 150 cab, because they did that in 2015. So this is the exact cab. Only problem with that is your bed rail height is higher. Now, you know, I tow trailers, and a lot of trailers barely have enough bed rail clearance now. It's the top of your bed where your stake holes are. It's your bed rail. So when you're doing all this stuff, I guess I better turn on all my controls. That exhaust brake is on, and tow haul mode is on. Now we're coming down the hill, fast side of the mountains. So I might try to adaptive cruise control right here. I can control how far I am in front of somebody. Looks like it's already ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to put it on right there, 40 miles an hour. But the bed rail clearance, you know, fifth wheels, campers, they get really close to your bed rail. I mean, you're lucky if you ever get 6 inches. Horse trailers, you usually have 8 inches or more. And that's what you need, because you go through dips, you know, you got approach angles and all those things that change just driving off-road a little bit or driving through a gas station with a big dip in it. So you need to be able to articulate your trailer to your truck and have them move separately. And Ford's been good about that. And, you know, Ram was always the one that was really tall, made it a little tougher to hook up the trailers. And now Ford's decided to get as tall as a Ram for some reason. Well, part of it goes back to the fact that if you look at the trucks and how they decide to squat, GM has the offset axle, there's a name for it, but basically your axle is forward from the center of the springs. Asymmetricals, that's what it's called. And it does a very good job of keeping you level. So at their maximum weight, their truck is level. Maximum trailer weight, and you're level. So Ford has always been a little above level when empty, and you put a load on it, it goes below zero, below level. And I think that's what caused all this changes that they've made recently. And Ram's always been way up in the air, so then they'll squat down close to level. So actually a Ram squats the most, but you can't tell that by just looking at them because they start so much higher. So I think Ford was wanting these to be level when you're done, when you're settled down. And so they decided to raise them up. Now, they'll deny that because I've had several conversations with them. They'll all tell me, no, it's no taller than that. And I don't know what they're drinking or what they're smoking, but they are. They are taller. You can go underneath there and see the block on the rear axle. But it goes back to the cab. Okay, the cab on the F-150, 2004, they raised it up 3 inches. Of course, I was against that because it makes it harder to trailers. It's harder on sliding campers. Making these tall trucks doesn't really help you any. So, 2004, they did that to the half-ton. And they left the Super Duty alone. Well, kind of. So now that they're using the 150 cab, they got that higher belt line, you call it, that goes underneath the windows and should match up with your bed rail. It's 2015, the new aluminum body, they lowered the belt line on the 150 an inch because they knew they were going to put it on the Super Duty. So they had to line those things up. Because the bed drop from bed rail to the floor of these Super Duties has always been 19 inches. So they put the Ford F-150 cab on here, and then they got to raise the bed up to make it look a little better. And they raised it up an inch. That makes it 20 inches. And so you got that problem. So now the bed is deeper. So you got your trailer's going to get closer to your bed rail. And you got to really watch when you go through dips now. Now that's not enough that they just did that. And I'll show you the video. Look at the belt line going down to the bed. So the bed is an inch taller. for these Super Duties for 2017, and then they blocked up the axle because they're wanting to have that rear end in the air. So that's what they did, and it is having problems. I get calls and emails from people around the country saying, hey, I can't hook this up to my trailer. I hit the trailer with it on these new Fords, and I'm going to have some long talks with my good friends at Ford and see what can be done there, because this is a history lesson. This goes back to 1999. 1999 was when the Super Duty was born. They were heavy duties up through 97. 98, they didn't make a truck. They waited and came out early with the 99. So the 99 Super Duties, they did the same thing. They put a block under the back springs, between the springs and the axle. It was 2 inches, maybe 3 inches. And so it jacked them up in the air, and then everybody was complaining because your sliding campers didn't fit the cab. Your trailers were banging into the bed rail. And so they did that in 1999. There was 2 series of 99s, and then 2000 they only put that block in there on the single rear wheel 350. The 350 dually, they took the block out. 250, they took the block out. So what they did, it was kind of like a secret recall, but if you complained to your dealer enough, Ford would take in those trucks with those blocks in there that jacked up the rear end, and under warranty one time, they would take the block out, put in shorter shock absorbers, put in shorter brake lines. So then you're all good to go. So I thought that was a lesson that they had learned at that time. Here we are, 2017, they did it again. And I've got a video of that block, and this block, my gosh, this block underneath these springs looks like they're 5 inches deep. When I first looked at them on 250, it looked like about a 2-inch drop, or 2-inch block. And that's all it is a block to make the back end higher. And it's nonsense in my opinion, but anyway, I'll complain like I always do. Back when 2011, the Ford Super Duty, the exhaust brake did not work. They claimed it did. 2015, they put a bigger turbo on it. It did work then, worked great. And I complained back 2012 that all these Super Duties and a crew cab didn't have child tailors in the back seat. And lo and behold, 2017 Super Duty crew cabs all have tailors in the back seat. So Ford does listen, and that's a good thing, because we buy these trucks, and we should have some input if things really irritate the crap out of us, like this new tall rear end. But anyway, that's another story. So that's enough about that. But that's what causes that. So if you're having trouble hooking up your trailer to your new Super Duty, that's why. And so certainly let your dealer know about it. Let your local regional manager know about it. Let everybody at Ford know about it, because they need to change that. We don't need these trucks that high in the air to where they become, almost unusable for a gooseneck, because these are good trailer towing trucks. But anyhow, so I'm up here coming down Estes Hill. I had adaptive cruise control on. Let me resume it. Just going a little over 40. Get too much traffic backed up behind me, but I love adaptive cruise control. Now, they've done a few things to this engine for this year to crank up the power, but not dramatically. Nothing dramatic on the transmissions. The 250 gas engine, they did change out the transmissions. But quiet truck. When I was helping the TFL truck test all these trucks, this was the quietest truck on the road with a trailer. I mean, I was surprised, because I know GM has done a lot to their engine for 2017 to put some more shielding in the valve covers, and they've got it quieter again, which I thought was very quiet the way it was. But I'm not even sure what Ford did to this truck. Could have been just the insulation of the cab, because it is flat out quiet. It's 35 miles an hour. I better slow down. But anyway, beautiful mountain scenery. I'm just glad we can start seeing leaves up here. At least the snow's gone away. But beautiful drive up here. This is 34, Highway 34. But this truck tows well. There's always a few things that you wonder about, but these days Ford was way ahead of the game with your integrated brake controller. Now in this one, it's in the right place. In the 150, it's down too low. This one's in the right spot. The mirrors are fantastic on this. The visibility is fantastic on this. The brakes are great. The grade shifting is great. Exhaust brake is very good. And they keep improving these trucks. That's what I like. Now this is aluminum sheet metal, so it's basically, I think it's 350 pounds or so lighter than the last model. But you know, where the half ton, they took out like 750 pounds to lighten that truck up. But on this one, they used about half of the weight savings in the aluminum and put it back in the heavier frames and heavier axles. And this is a box. This is the first one in the Super Duty series to go from C-channel to a box frame. I'm a fan of C-channels, but there's nothing wrong with box frame. I just like to be able to flex it like that, take some of the torque out and run it to the frame. But this does very well. They've done a good job of tuning this frame. First time they've gone boxed on the Super Duty. Great lights on these trucks. But I love the fact that they're, you know, they've got the capability, and Ford and GM on these hitches on the rear end, you don't require weight distributing hitch. You go the maximum ton towing weight and not have to mess with weight distributing hitch. Now on half tons, they need weight distributing hitches, but I never thought that the 3/4 tons did. And they're still required in some instances. Ram, you still, I think, over 12,000 pounds, you got to use weight distributing hitch. But for the first time, Ford no longer goes by that rule. They let you go all the way up to 21,000 if your truck is equipped to tow 21,000, like this dually is. This one is equipped for that. So I can put a 21,000 pound bumper pull trailer, you know, conventional trailer on it. I can tow it almost 32,000 pounds gooseneck trailer. So, you know, and that's what they've done. They've increased their technology with the, you know, the adaptive cruise control, adaptive steering, all that. So it's designed to handle the bigger trailers. Next question is, you got to make sure that you have really good brakes on your trailer. So that will be the next problem we have to conquer. I like to see us go to, you know, ABS brakes on the trailers and disc hydraulic brakes on the trailers. I've had that on a horse trailer. It's fantastic. But that's the interesting thing. It keeps getting better and better and better. It's fun driving these trucks. The dualies are my funnest truck to drive. Well, I don't know. The Raptor's a kick-ass truck. It makes you smile. But in work situations like what I'm doing here, a 1-ton dually, it just tickles me to death. Because you got the dually, you got a little better braking, a little better handling on curves, even though your pivot point is still on top of your axle. But, no. It's a great truck. Wish Kelsey was here driving it. But she had to do other things. So you got at least 6 cup holders just in the center on this. You know, I've said how roomy this cab is. The console's wider, so I can actually hit my knee on it. I used to be a little more room on the seat, but the cab is still big, and I'm wearing my truck hat, which is a 3-inch brim, 3-inch crown. It's about the only thing you can get into a truck. You know, most of these hats are 4 and 4, but they've got the headrest out of my way, which is good. Usually I'm always running to the headrest, and the seat's at the right angle. I can actually wear a hat in here and have plenty of room. Plenty of quiet. This is, you know, these are the kind of trucks you can drive all day long and not get fatigued from the vibration or the noise or any of that. It steers very well. Ford's improved their steering a lot. I used to think they were a little too tight. They loosened them up a little, and this one is just right. Not sure what they changed on it, but it's still recirculating ball, which is rack and pinion. But maybe someday we'll get that in the Super Duty and the heavy duties. But it tows like a dream.
And we got tons of pickup truck questions, right?
Right. Where do we go for the answers?
We go to the Truck Nuts book.
Because we're truck nuts. And we wrote the book, Truck Nuts. We're nuts about truck. The ultimate guide to buying a truck, or to looking at a truck, or judging a truck. You know, whether it's diesel versus gas, new versus used, what your teenagers should learn about trucks, all that. You do all kinds of cool tests.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. We do the iGauntlet, world's toughest towing test, up the mountain and down the mountain. We do MPG testing on the highway, loaded with trailers.
Yeah.
We do off-road testing. A lot of that data is in this book as well, and it's a one-stop shop for truck information.
That's true. We test trucks, maximum capacity, up to the biggest grades you can do on the interstate.
Yep.
So we really put them to the test. And, you know, you can get all the facts you can't find anywhere else. We do MPG tests, which you can't find on any sticker anywhere. So, you know, all that stuff that you can't find is in the book.
And you can find the book at trucknutsbook.com. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the other bookstores as well.
So read about your truck nuts.